The one thing Donald Trump understood that I don't think Democrats actually want to understand is that use the bully pulpit. Donald Trump used the bully pulpit for evil, quite honestly. So why the hell aren't Democrats using it relentlessly to do good? Well, that's because a lot of the policies that are sneaking by or not getting implemented, rather. Let me correct myself, Rebecca, because you said it. What good is electing this president? Those two distinguished senators now from the state of Georgia. We did our part. We got them elected. What good is all that for them to just go up there and then all of the people who love them make excuses when they don't do anything? Now, we wanted to start the episode to give you guys the good thing that Joe Biden did, which was to call them Neanderthals. Good. But we got some serious problems here. And some of the serious problems include the lack of delivering on promises. And there is an urgency of right now because people need $15 an hour right now. Hell, they needed it 15 years ago. People need these $2,000 checks right now. They don't need all of this equivocation and all this triangulating. And who are they? There's a whole nother story we're going to get to. My problem is this. People who make excuses so that their governors, their senators, and their presidents, their representatives, the people that we elect to go do stuff on behalf of us, then all of the fans are like, oh, no, it's okay. We don't actually care if they don't get us $15 an hour. Well, how? Because that's what they promised us.
All of a sudden, they don't care.
And that drives me, like, what literally, what good is it? What good is it for you to just line up and make excuses for them when they ain't doing nothing for us? I mean, that's just me.
But you know what? And I'm going to take it a step further, right? And to me, it is similar to how the Republicans and their constituents were with Trump when he was in office. There was an excuse after an excuse after an excuse. Now, it almost makes me think, even when President Obama was in office, we did the same thing. We made excuses because he was black. Now, he was the first black president. It was a big deal. It was a phenomenon. Yeah. It was all of that. Yeah. But we learned a lesson. That's why we're not just going to vote for somebody because they're black. That's why we haven't gotten anything else. Because we're not doing that again. We need more. We need more and we need more. But with Donald Trump, there's always an excuse being made. There was always an excuse being made. He's not even in office anymore. And there's always excuses. They always had excuses. Like literally. Yeah. Like the people ran up at the Capitol and these people made excuses. Who did they blame? Of course, it was Black Lives Matter. But we have about to call him Donald Trump. But I feel like this is the same thing that we are seeing for the people and Joe Biden. And I hate to say it, but this is culty. Yeah. And you guys have an excuse for everything. Holding him accountable does not mean that I'm saying he should not be president, because that does not mean that I hate him. That doesn't mean any of that. What it means is we need a president to do president stuff.
He's not to say, oh my God, you should have said it exactly the way you started to say it, Rebecca. Okay. I'll pay the fine. We need a president to do presidential shit, man. We need you to get out there and actually do. Go ahead, sis. I'll take the charge for you. Go ahead.
That's it. I ain't saying it, but you said it for me. And that's really all it boils down to. So we can't, and that's us being very hypocritical. Now, Dems have always been hypocritical. Everybody's hypocritical in this space. I understand, but this ain't the time to not hold this man accountable. It's like we can hold him accountable, still love him. We got to mold him. We got to teach him how to love us. We got to teach him how to lead us. We can't just have an excuse every single time. We've already went through this. Like, lessons learned. Let's do that. Let's walk in something different. That's the only way. So stop getting on Twitter and attacking people saying, like with Kamala, somebody wrote me to something I wrote about a week ago saying, where is she? Like, I really want to know where she is. And, like, you are our vice president. Like, again, we put you in this position because we thought you was going to do work. Now, you are not the most, I don't like you and your policies, like in your history, but we got you in this position. You said you were going to do something. Where is it? Where are you? It's important that you show up. It's important that you, as the vice president of the United States, show up for these states. Use your power. Use your relationships. Use your voice that was so damn loud a few months ago. Use that. So the woman, the person that wrote me said maybe it's because of what happened on the terrorist attack that happened that she's laying low, because March 4th is supposed to be a day. March 4th is supposed to be a day where they're going to be trying to go in and attack those people again, and Kamala being almost high on that list or something they wrote me. And I said, we have presidents that have been assassinated. We got cars that were built for those kind of things. We have secret service. We have all of these things, right? Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that she needs to go out. She could be on TikTok. You know, Joe,
she can do it. She can do it from the safety of the White House.
She can do it from the golf course that's on her land, on her property. She can do all of it, or any of it. She can talk to the people. There are ways. Okay, you can Zoom it, sis. You can Zoom it. Something. We need to know where you are. People need to be comfortable. People need to understand. People need to be comfortable that they and feel like they can rely on who they voted for. It's not like, girl, I'm gonna go on a sabbatical after y'all done hire me for the position. I'm gonna take all my days, sick days, vacation days, PT, all of that, all of that.
Let me tell you that. Let's contextualize this a little bit for them, because I know the audience watching probably already knows all the headlines from yesterday, but we have plenty of reason for us to be shouting at the president and the vice president at this moment, right? And if nobody else has the right to do so, it'll be the folks right here on the screen, because we all actively participated in helping win Georgia, right, for the president, and we all actively participated in helping win Georgia for Raphael Warnock, and the other dude, whatever his name is. So if anybody has a right, John Ossoff, his dude ass. So anyway, if anybody has a right to hold this administration accountable, it would be the people who actually voted for him, right? That said, Joe Biden has already caved on stimulus eligibility. Right? They're narrowing the gap. They're narrowing the range of people who can receive a stimulus check. President Joe Biden has decided to narrow the eligibility for the next round of stimulus payments after immense pressure from moderate Senate Democrats pushing for a quote unquote more targeted spending. Biden and Senate Democrats have decided that individuals earning under $75,000 and couples who earn under $150,000 will still get the full $1,400 person amount. According to reports, these limits would result in roughly $12 billion in savings, which is a rounding error. I want y'all to be clear. $12 billion in savings is a rounding error for every bill that this Senate and this Congress puts out. Jeff Stein of the Washington Post also took to Twitter saying the following. He said, quote, "Small update here. Limiting the benefit results in roughly $12 billion in savings per Democratic aid. The whole bill is $1.9 trillion. So we're literally looking at a rounding error because pressure from moderate Democrats like Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Kirsten Sinema, they don't want to simply write the American people a check in this pandemic. This is not only stupid, it's bad politics, because they have set up a scenario where people can legitimately now say that they got more money during the pandemic from the fascist white supremacist in chief, Donald Trump. And so now they're setting up this situation where there are going to be millions of Americans, I think to the tune of 12 million families, are no longer going to get a stimulus check. And it's just completely unnecessary and asinine, because that amount of money is a rounding error in a $1.9 trillion bill. Who does it benefit? It benefits nobody. Who does it hurt? It hurts millions of Americans, and it also hurts the Democratic Party. It's the dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my life. And yet and still, you have all of these sycophants, all of these fanboys and fangirls and non-gender conforming individuals who are making excuses for this man in the White House. I don't have, this is not how politics work, people. Would you make an excuse? I want to ask everybody a question. Let's contextualize this a little bit more, Rebecca. I'm going to throw it back to you. Would you allow your partner in your household to make all of the promises necessary for him to move in, or her to move in, or for they to move in, right? And then when they get in there, they literally renege on every single thing they promised you. You would not allow this in your household. Why the hell would we allow this in the White House?
It's crazy, right? Here we go. Now we got to take it to the realistic times, because we be lying. We would be like,
You make some excuses, wouldn't you?
You make some excuses. Your family's getting involved, and you're like, mind your business. It's my home. I'm gonna check them. You try to check them. You give them some of the rules. You lay it down. You tell them this is how it's supposed to be. You let them slide a little bit. Then you get frustrated, right? Because you got to hold them accountable. You're holding them accountable in your home. You keep them home in home, and when you get out, you try to make excuses for them. But then it comes to a point where now you're going to explode and you're going to kick him out. His stuff is going to be at the door. He got to go stay with his mama because you're not doing it. But let's start now because we've learned before. It's one of those things. We knew what toxic was. And we've seen it in two forms. And I'm not to say I have to go back to President Obama because what we did was just love him because he was Black. And yes, and I loved his attitude and I love his wife. I love all that. It looked good. But there were things that we didn't hold him accountable for because of what it looked like. And then we had Donald Trump, who literally did all the worst things in the world, and had people making excuses for him and saying, oh my gosh, this is just how he is. And he's a superstar. So he's going to walk in that. We made excuses that created more of a monster. Yes. Created so much more of a monster. And the breakup is so bad and toxic that people don't want to let go. Now we're here. We've been through toxic situations already, guys. Let's move on. Let's change it. There is no excuse for us to try to do the same thing with Joe Biden. Joe Biden is somebody who was already in the White House. Come on. Okay? He already knows how to move. So we cannot keep giving him excuses.
You can't.
He has to stand in that. He has to move like a president.
He has to move like a president. But the thing is, honestly, if we really do an analysis of this, he's doing exactly what he wants to do.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the stuff that really, because once you in a relationship.
That's pretty white of him. It's pretty white of him.
It's pretty gaslighting of him, right? Because you're in a relationship. You know what that breaking point is in most relationships? Is when you finally realize, oh, this dude ain't mean no good by me in the first place. Oh, this chick ain't mean no good by me in the first place. Oh, you've been gaslighting me the entire time.
Yes, when you sit down and you kind of play everything back. And
then it starts making sense.
Yeah, we did it early. We was like, this man done ran his campaign.
Right. So it's not like
it's not making sense.
It sounds like all three of us have been through some gaslighting situations, and when we see it now, because once you see it, you can smell it a mile away. Like once they said they blamed this on the parliamentarian, and Kamala Harris literally has the power. Kamala Harris has the power to overturn that decision by the parliamentarian, and now everybody's making, what about Joe Manchin? I wish Joe Manchin would. See, this is the thing. This is how you know you're in an abusive relationship. When you deny the actual power of your partner. If your partner has the ability to fix a problem, and you're sitting there like, but if they actually try, then they might fail. I wish Joe Manchin would try Kamala Harris by undermining her authority as a vice president to overrule the rule of the parliamentarian. I wish he would. But what are we seeing online instead, Rebecca, James? What are we seeing? People making excuses saying, we're scared of Joe. You're scared of Joe Manchin? All this stuff that K-High have been talking about, all this noise they've been spitting on the internet, all them angry videos where they're in the camera like, all that. And y'all afraid of Joe Manchin, and y'all gonna let him stop Kamala Harris from rising to the occasion that millions of Americans would never forget. Kamala Harris would go down as a legend if she stood up in this moment, but instead y'all prefer an abusive relationship and allow her to get away with doing nothing because y'all are scared of Joe Manchin. I wish boy, look, let me stop. Anyway.
Look, you said it all. Let me tell you something. Bubba, he was preaching. He was preaching. Bubba, listen, like, those relationships where you're with someone and then like, say a Kamala, excuse me, I need to get that right, but like a Kamala, and you're with her or however, and she did all her history was bad. You like them thuggish. You like them with a little history. You know what I'm saying?
Rough around the edges.
And See, that's your problem right there. That's your problem.
That is the problem. And then they clean up, and you're like, I believe in you. I see potential in you. Okay, I do, and I can work off potential. You have ambition, because we start trying to be Iyanla Van Zandt. on one person.
Y'all start ministering to him.
You know, baby, I got you. Put you right here in my bosom. Listen, I'm gonna pray. I pray
Whatever
over you at 3
need.
a.m. I'm right here for you. And then they get up and do the same thing the next day, the day after that. You take them back, they only good for 1 week and they back to normal. This is exactly what Kamala and Joe Biden are. And the thing is, and when they go missing, everybody makes an excuse for them. And it's like, people, you see the abuse. Your mama and dad, the mama and daddy of this person will make an excuse like, you know how he or she gets. You know how he or she they get. You know how it is. Give them some time. Give them some grace. And you're going on year 5. You ain't got no edges. You ain't got no edges. Facial hair growing in at 1 million. Your body type, your body shape is just all out of whack. It's just you. Stress.
Rebecca is spitting facts.
This is what I'm saying. All of
it's
that.
It's an abusive relationship, bro.
We are not. Listen, March 2020 of last year, I was in my bag. Like as far as, just exercising, feeling good, about to turn 30. March 2021 of this year, I feel I had to go to therapy. I had to talk to a psychiatrist because of the year. The year.
Yeah.
And I do not want to go into this with the hope that I had when Joe Biden was coming in. Yes, I had my reservations, but the hope that I had in comparison to what we had before. And we're going in and nothing has changed.